Today, I'm going to show you a few AI tools, talk about how AI is your friend, not your enemy, and show you a few practical tools you can use right now to build out your games and apps. So that's why it's controversially titled, Why AI Isn't the New Crypto in Gaming. It's going to be an interactive session as well, which means I ask you questions. And if you want to come forward a bit, I do have like 5 T-shirts to give away. For anybody who asks a particularly interesting question, I'll give you a T-shirt. And there's loads of stickers. You might see the stickers around the place. But let's get going. Oh, the clicker's broken, and I'm going to try and do a live demo as well. So let's see how it goes. Maybe everything will break. So let's start with a quick question. Who here uses artificial intelligence in their day-to-day lives or making games? 3, 4? OK, so maybe like 50%. And who here uses AI to generate content? I'm talking imagery, movies for their games, down to maybe, thank you over there, maybe like 20%. And who here uses AI to generate 3D models? Anybody do that yet? 0. OK, so maybe we can learn something today, or maybe I should leave the stage because it's not relevant. One of the two. And I wonder what everybody's opinions on AI is. Does anybody have a positive attitude to AI, or do we feel it's a problem? Anybody have any thoughts there? Blank stares. So, I mean, in games development, I think, yeah, go on. You like it? OK. That's great. I work at Anything World, and we bring 3D models to life. We animate 3D models using AI, so we're trying to make it easier for people to create. And I feel like we need to flip the conversation in that way. These are tools that you can use to supercharge your abilities to make games specifically. But yeah, obviously AI has a bad reputation, but I don't feel it's an NFT or crypto or Web3. I feel like machine learning specifically is something that can supercharge all our creative powers and should be a force for good, but it could also be bad. Let's delve into the bad a little bit. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot the joke. The dinosaur says no. Obviously, there's many issues with artificial intelligence, plagiarism being the main one. If you can generate an animation in a SpongeBob style, it's obviously been trained on SpongeBob data, so there's a lot of issues there. Job replacement. A lot of people concerned about AI doing creative writing for them, or creating movies for them, or indeed making games. I think what will happen is that we'll see a blend of AI to supercharge you and human finesse on top. I think the human will always be in the loop. And then maybe the fairest one is consolidation of power, especially with the large language models and the massive models that only Google and OpenAI, Microsoft, and others can run. I think that's a genuine concern. If we're all powering our stuff with these massive models, and only the biggest guys have the 50 trillion terabytes of data centers to do it, that is a problem. So now you're all depressed. I can talk about the creative power of AI. And if you have any questions, do jump in any point as I'm rambling on. So as we see it, as I see it, AI can power a new wave of creativity in game dev. Myself and my co-founder, Seb, we made indie games like 100 years ago, after the Flash games. 15 years ago, made one of the first PlayStation 3 games built with Unity. It was an underwater papercraft shark game called Derek the Deathfin, which none of you have played. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands, because I know how that game sold 3 copies. And we always had a problem modeling, rigging, and animating 3D models. We didn't have those skills. So when we saw the rise of Sketchfab, Google Poly, and other libraries, we thought, what if we can bring these all in, bring them to life, and allow people to create? So that's kind of how we see AI, allow people to create what they otherwise wouldn't. And let's see, what future is this? I think it's going to be an exciting time for games. I'm a little bit surprised, honestly, that games are a bit behind where they were. Normally, games push to the forefront of what's possible with technology, and they lead trends. In terms of artificial intelligence and gaming, it's a little bit behind where I thought it would be. But this is all the stuff that I think is coming. Rigging and animation, that's what Anything World does. These guys and stickers and T-shirts. But there are people that generate 3D models. Obviously, there's procedural environments powered by AI as well. I think we're going to have, within 5 to 10 years, what the NVIDIA CEO says. This guy, the guy who never sleeps, never eats, never drinks, just works all day. I don't know if you've seen him on Instagram. But he thinks we'll have fully AI-generated games in 5 to 10 years. And I think that's true. I think with a text prompt, you'll be able to create a whole dynamic, living game. Now, whether the game mechanics will be interesting or, everybody will want to play the same game is a different subject. There will always need to be humans to add to that. But I think we will be able to generate whole living, interactable 3D worlds within a few years. And this guy, Jesus, from Microsoft, he chained together a few tools to make a 3D workflow in 25 minutes. And I'm going to try and do a live demo of creating a 3D model and animating it here on stage for you today. Yeah, OK, let's try a demo. This is where everything gets a little bit scrappy, and you see all my windows and embarrassing messages from ex-partners and stuff. But hopefully, if you can see this screen, OK. I'm going to use Luma's Genie to generate a 3D model. Then I'm going to use Anything World to animate it. And it will take like 5 minutes. But hopefully, as I'm rambling on, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So let's put in a simple prompt here. Has anybody ever seen a tool like this or used a tool like this? No? Yeah? That's cool. I think Luma's one of the best. There's also Meshy. They're now able to generate like 3D models, stylistically increasingly consistent. A few months ago, if you've ever tried out these tools, there was like holes in the meshes, faces missing. But we're getting to a point now where you can generate like reasonable quality stuff. So let me generate here a bird with, and if anybody has any questions, do shout them out, because this bit will slow down a bit as I'm generating stuff on the fly. So you can do like more detailed prompts, but I'm just looking for anything kind of bird-like and flying. This is not our service. This is Luma, a different service. So let me bring this guy in. If anything breaks during this live demo, I apologize. It's my own fault for trying to do a live demo. So I don't know how well you can see that bird there. It's quite a dark-looking bird, isn't it? But OK. You can make it high-res and stuff, but let's download it as it is. This will take a little while to clean the mesh. Typically, to generate these 3D models takes around 5 minutes to do a reasonable quality one. I'll use the preview, so it'll look a bit ropey, but just to give you an idea of how quickly you can create. We do a stream every week at Anything World, and myself and Jermaine, we spent an hour coming up with a story for some crazy pig-robbing characters, and we made the characters and we animated them all within about 70 minutes. And if you think about trying to do that even 2-3 years ago, it's not possible. So these are creative possibilities. Even if you don't like the results and you want to use it just for prototyping, I think these kind of tools are valuable. So let me download that one, and let me also make another one. Let's make a dog as well. Obviously, these prompts are not very interesting or advanced. Just looking for something simple and funny. Maybe this guy's already good. OK, let's do him. I'll download this, and I'll start putting it through Anything World. And while it's doing its thing, I'll go back into the presentation to hopefully re-engage the audience who are looking like they're dozing off in the sun there. But it's going to be a nice day today, so. OK. Let me download this guy. Obviously, pretty low quality. Give this guy a download. And while I'm doing that, I'll go into Anything World. So this is my company, Anything World. There's 30 of us. We're basically a machine learning company that can ingest any static mesh, generate a rig and animation for it in theory. So like Mixamo, I'm sure many of you use Mixamo. We're like Mixamo, but for everything. So let me upload that model that I just, what time is it? 12:09, one of these. OK. Let me upload this guy. You have to attribute the user, and you have to click a bunch of boxes to make sure you own the 3D data that you put into our stuff, because we don't want people stealing models and then animating them, selling them. That hasn't been the case yet. Might take a couple of seconds to pre-process this mesh. And once it is, I'll kick it into the rigging and animation stage and go back into the presentation. How we do for time. Live demos. OK, oh, this is the bird. OK. So let me just kick this through the process a bit. Let's call it, anybody have a good name for a bird? Did someone say Barry? OK, Barry the bird. I know no one did. OK, so we'll kick this through. We bring loads of stuff to life. I won't dwell on it too much, but if you want to try us out at anything.world, you can give it a whirl. Sometimes you have to tweak the rotation and stuff to get this to work. OK, and say whether it's symmetrical. I'll kick that one on, and then I will start the next one. I will upload the dog as well, if I can find it. Is it that one? Oh, no, the dog hasn't downloaded yet. Hold on. Let me just download this dog. OK. Where's he gone? That one, I think. Sorry, this bit's a little bit uninteresting. But soon we will get some animated results, which hopefully will impress you, unless it goes completely wrong. Let's call him Dave the dog. And type of dog. This guy's doing his rigging thing. So you can start as many of these as possible. We have an API as well if you want to throw 100 models at us too. Hopefully this is the dog. OK, cool. Let's kick this one on. It's a type of canine and feline. And also needs a bit of a rotation fix. OK. So those guys should be rigging themselves now. I'll close that one in a minute. So these guys are getting rigged. And while they're doing that, I will go back into my presentation and talk about some other tools while it's doing that stuff. So as I said, I promised I would show you various tools, and then I ended up just messing around with a live demo that may or may not work. But yeah, if you want to generate text, I'm sure we all know ChatGPT. There are others that are potentially more powerful, like Claude, if you want to generate narratives for your games. And then image generation as well. Many of us said we use some of this stuff, so DALL-E, Midjourney. You can generate, you don't have to generate realistic imagery, you can generate fantastical imagery, obviously for your mood boards, maybe for your concept art. I don't want to get the concept artists worried about being out of work and stuff like that, but you can generate very interesting imagery as well super quickly. And there are companies like Scenario, if you're aware of them, who wrap some of this technology and make it easy to make like game art for UI and stuff like that. So I feel like these are all tools that you can use to power up, oops, bit of feedback, what you do. Video generation as well. Luma, the same people who did the 3D generation, they announced something called Dream Machine a couple of days ago. You can generate like really high quality, high fidelity video. And Sora, you may have seen, that's the OpenAI one. The ability to generate this stuff with more control and a higher quality is kind of off the charts. These ones are based on huge amounts of data. And then dialogue generation too. I don't know if any of you have ever experimented with like narrative games that are not branching narratives. I think now with tools like in-world AI, you can generate games that are different on the fly. You can give individuals characteristics, personalities. What interests me and us at Anything World is the notion of creating a game doesn't have a defined shape. You can generate 3D worlds on the fly. You can generate narrative on the fly. More people that use it changes the game. I think we'll see some of those type of games in the future, like No Man's Sky times a million. Something that's truly like formless and is shaped by the people that are using it is something that is very interesting to me as a game designer. So these guys are very cool for that kind of stuff. And then skybox generation. Blockade Labs do a great job of generating skybox. If you want a quick and easy way to prototype or to generate skyboxes, they're great at that. 3D model generation, I showed you Genie by Luma Labs, and Meshi is another leading example there. And then in terms of rig generation, that's what we do at Anything World. We take any static 3D model, we generate the rig for it. And then animation generation, you can use this for that too. There are loads of mocap companies like Move AI if you're doing bipeds, human-type characters, and Mixamo's been around for a long time. That auto-rigs and animates human characters. So let's go back into our auto-rigging stuff. You can see the dog here has been rigged by Anything World. I'll kick it onto the animation stage. Hopefully the bird has as well. This weird-looking bird. I don't know how that's going to come out. But I will kick them both onto the animation stage. They take a few more minutes to get animated. But hopefully, by the end of the talk, we will have some working examples there. I see I've got 11 minutes left. Is that 11 minutes including questions? Yeah, OK. So I need to speed up, basically. OK, these are pre-recorded demos when the demo fails. That hasn't happened yet, so we can skip over these. Yeah, I don't want to push Anything World too much at you, but we have a free tier. Check us out. If you Google anything.world, if you see a sticker or a T-shirt, just check us out. Try us to put some of your models through there. We also have SDKs for Unity and Unreal, where we plug in like thousands of assets that have been pre-animated, and you can create like stuff on the fly. In one line of code, you can ask for 1,000 butterflies, and they'll come in and they'll flock. That kind of stuff. And yeah, we're also in Blender as well. We're coming to Roblox in a couple of weeks. We have a Discord bot where you can animate straight from Discord. So we're trying to come everywhere and make 3D rigging and animation easy and accessible to people. Like I say, it's not to replace people's jobs. It's to give people superpowers that otherwise wouldn't have access to it. That's how we see it. That's why we started the company. And yeah, our mission is to generate limitless 3D worlds in real time. So I think there definitely is a future coming where you can generate whatever you want within a game or platform and see it animated and interact with it and have a character, and the world will be truly dynamic and formless. Whether that will make good games, I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Does anybody have any questions while we're waiting for the stuff to animate? Any questions, anybody?
Hello. Thank you for the speech.
Of course.
You know, there's a joke about programmers that you can finish task in 2 hours or make a program in 3 hours that can solve the problem in 5 minutes. So it doesn't feel the same, especially for some such kind of low poly models, because I think for good 3D designer, he can do it really quickly. And you need a lot of time to create a prompt, to find a good model, to check the mesh and stuff like that. So how much time you really
I mean, for this guy, hopefully if it works, if it doesn't break, this would be like 5 minutes to do that. So, or maybe 10 minutes. I don't think you can model and rig and animate even a low poly dog.
But I think you still need to polish it a little bit to put in the game, and you still need some time and people for that. I mean, do you really save a lot of time with that?
I think so. We also have, like, pushing us again, we also have like a plugin for Unity and Unreal. So if you put a model through here, you can pick it up in Unity and Unreal and bring it in with code or drag it in. So we're trying to make that easier for people. I do think it saves a lot of time. I mean, if you're a professional rigger, animator, and if you're like a super brain, then maybe. But for most people who don't have those skills, it definitely, I feel like it saves a lot of time. Certainly for me, I can't do it, and now I can. I don't know, I don't think you can do this in 10 minutes any other way, can you? Unless you've had a lot of Red Bull.
No, maybe for prototyping is a good thing, but for releasing games, maybe not, in my opinion. But okay, maybe in 5 years it will be much, much better.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to get, okay, so here's the animated dog. We're trying to get to under 1 minute for that whole process you saw. At the moment, it's like 5 or less. But you can see here we've got our animated dog walking. We have a few animations on here. And you can export this, bring this into Unity, bring this into Unreal, you know, do whatever you like with it. So, like, it's pretty quick to do that kind of thing. Even though it's low poly and the model doesn't look amazing, it's still pretty quick. And this guy's also done, sorry, just to interrupt the questions. It's a weird-looking bird. I mean, I wouldn't use that bird for anything at all. But it is flying. You know, we have created and rigged and animated models in a couple minutes, which I think is pretty powerful. And to answer your question, the time saving is significant to me. But obviously, this is not a finished model. This is not my best doggy game ever. It's not good enough yet. So the human needs to create the game design, the rules, the interactions. But if I can even just prototype with this quickly, I think it's valuable, personally. So any more questions?
Using all these AI models usually brings problems of the context. So how do you solve the consistency problem between different models, different prompts, like anything?
Yeah, I mean, so what we do is, as I said, we do this. We rig and animate models based on the mesh. So that's not a problem for our company, but it is difficult. Like, there's an art to writing prompts. And I think it is definitely a concern of, can you generate, for my mobile game, say, 100 stylistic consistently assets? And the answer has been no for a while, but I've kind of learned to do some prompts and keep bits of those prompts in to be able to do it. But yeah, it's early days, but I think you've got to think we're just at the start of this. In a year, 2 years, 3 years' time, this stuff is going to be really, really good. So I think those questions of like generating stylistically consistent assets will fall away. But at the moment, yeah, totally. I don't know if you would use these tools purely for anything beyond something that's like hyper-casual mobile, something like that at the moment. But I think you've got to think in like 2, 3, 4 years' time, that's going to be, you know, up to AAA game standard, I would think.
Do we have more questions?
Any more questions? We've had 2 questions so far, and I've got 5 T-shirts to give away, so there's 3 left. Any more questions? You get a T-shirt for a question. Even if it's something simple like, what's my second name? Any question will do.
Hi.
Hello.
A very random question. What was the most challenging 3D model that you have ever created?
It's a good question, actually, because we've been doing this for like 5. It's a great question, so you definitely get a T-shirt. We've been doing this for 5 years, and we were doing it before it was fashionable. Everyone was talking about AI. People said it's a gimmick. Who needs to create with prompts? Who needs to do this stuff? And yeah, what we do is we take shapes and we analyze them. So we've had loads of weird stuff over the years. We had a pineapple, upside-down pineapple walking because the system thought it was an arachnid, thought it was a spider because it's got 8 sticky things out the top of a pineapple. And one of the really difficult categories to bring to life is pelicans, because they're a weird-looking bird with long beaks, so it's categorized it as other stuff. We have a lot of specific challenges because we bring insects, pelicans, spiders, helicopters, everything to life. So yeah, the machine learning system has over the years generated some weird stuff. We were thinking of maybe making it into a book or like a series, because that pineapple in particular was quite freaky, quite scary. So yeah, you get a lot of weird edge cases. And I guess if you're developing now with these tools, if you can make something silly, that embraces those mistakes, then I think you can have a lot of fun right now with this kind of stuff. So thank you. Great question. Any more questions? No? OK, cool. Well, if anybody fancies a sticker, come and get one. And please do check out Anything World and give us a try. And hopefully we can supercharge your creation.